Today's episode is brought to you by Canby Foursquare Church. Since 1978, a place to grow, connect, and serve. In-person services are back with some restrictions to help ensure everyone stays safe and healthy. For the latest, visit their website at canbyfoursquare.com.
Welcome to Now Hear This Canby,
your source for news.
The threat of a possible teacher strike was avoided this week.
There's a new, irresistibly cute creature winning over fans, and its name is Scootaloo.
Sports?
It's like Lucy in the football. You want to kick a field goal, but they take it away from you.
We had to learn how to win.
Goal can't be in the last second of the game!
And interesting conversations.
Because I'm one of the strongest girls ever, and I know that for a fact.
I just really enjoy writing gossip as if I was a bear.
With an old maid daughter that make the best moonshine in the coast.
And if it would have hit me in the face, I think I would have died. I really do.
I guarantee you would have died, man. Are you kidding me?
Nearly 2 weeks after a once-in-a-half-century ice storm pummeled the region, leaving as many as 240,000 county residents without power, the sheriff's office reports fewer than 1,000 remain in the dark as of Wednesday afternoon. The numbers of households affected, 982, is the low water mark for the historic blackouts, which included the entire cities of Canby and Aurora, but still represents thousands of Clackamas Countians facing extreme and even life-threatening challenges. At least 5 county residents died as a result of the storm, 4 to carbon monoxide poisoning, and 1 to a medical device failure due to loss of power. This week, Clackamas County Sheriff's Office deputies and the Oregon Air National Guard had deployed to storm-affected areas, doing welfare checks and offering resources to those who remained without power. Those efforts are now being scaled back, the Sheriff's Office reported Wednesday. The relief operation with the 142nd Wing included 18 personnel from Sunday to Tuesday. The CCSO and Guard put in more than 1,100 hours combined during the joint operation. Deputies and airmen handed out fuel gift cards, blankets, batteries, starter logs, cases of bottled water, flashlights, ready-to-eat meals, and other items donated by the community. On the last day, Sheriff Angela Brandenburg visited the Emergency Operations Center, EOC, and presented the airmen with challenge coins as a token of gratitude. The EOC plans to officially stand down over the weekend, if not before. However, welfare checks will continue as normal part of Sheriff's operations. Residents should note that only CCSO personnel in uniform will perform welfare checks. Clackamas County said Wednesday that some residents had reported being visited by people claiming to be Portland General Electric corporate security. If you are visited by a non-uniformed person claiming to be performing an official welfare check or asking if you have power, use caution. For emergencies, call or text 911. For non-emergencies, call 503-655-8211. Aurora-based Arlene Cuisine continues to dish out free, hot meals to neighborhoods and areas most impacted by the storm and long-term power outages. They served from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Wednesday at the Whiskey Hill store in Hubbard and will be back at it from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Friday at North Marion Intermediate School in Aurora. The Storm Resource Center at the Clackamas County Fairgrounds also reopened Wednesday at Horning Hall from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. with hot breakfast served at 10 and dinner at 4 p.m. courtesy La Luz de la Mundo and Canby, Oregon. Nailed it. Also a warming station, the center is providing blankets, MREs, Wi-Fi, charging stations, clean water, and more. After asking several times, Stacy Sprague finally convinced the foreman she was serious. She wanted to cook dinner for him and his crew, and she wasn't taking no for an answer. It was the least she could do to express her gratitude at seeing the cavalry come over the hill and head their way, signaling the beginning of the end for a 10-day ordeal without power for her small, rural neighborhood on Highway 99E near Aurora. Canby Utility had, at the request of PGE, come out to check on them shortly after the storm, but they were, in her words, at the end of the line. The power for her area was sourced from Woodburn, which came back days later than Canby and Aurora, and significant damage needed to be repaired, including damaged crossbars and a power pole that had been hit by a falling tree. Our elderly neighbors live across the train tracks, so we've been helping them with water generators and everything for the last week, Sprague said. They have always been the first priority to make sure they're good because hauling water isn't easy in your 80s. The crew's appearance this past Sunday made her feel relieved and proud, she said. We were relieved to get the power back on, Sprague said. I'm sure everyone can relate that there are a lot of obstacles to living without power, too many to list, and proud to see such a hard-working crew taking care of us. The foreman refused to allow the crewmen come into Sprague's house and impose, so they warmed up the garage and served them out there. Sprague whipped up a hot meal for 12 as fast as she could. Barbecue chicken and roasted vegetables on the Traeger, rice, and a big salad with strawberries, gorgonzola crumbles, and fresh lemon vinaigrette she made the day before. And for dessert, we all shared a box of chocolates, she concluded. The crew from DJ's Electric Incorporated in Battleground, Washington, and subcontracted to PGE for storm recovery work was grateful for the hot food. Sprague said that they had been working 15-hour days, with breakfast typically being the only meal that they could count on. Other rural residents have shown their own appreciation for the hundreds of line crews still at work in their area. It was a party atmosphere on Alder Creek Lane when crews reached their road south of Canby Sunday, resident Kelly Burke said. With neighbors pitching in and providing pizza, Gatorade, and lots of goodies for the hardworking crews. It was wonderful to have the crews out here working so hard for the community, Burke said. Felt like a celebration. For the Spragues, better even than having the lights back on was making some new friends. I was so proud of them. I felt like they were my kids, she said. I was thanking each one and telling them to be careful all the time. Sprague said she did not want to bring attention to herself, but wanted to highlight a little kindness and humanity at the end of a challenging episode. It's simple. Treat others how you would like to be treated, she said. I just thought, what would be the best thing I could do for someone that is cold and tired? And then I did it. Good news for local restaurants, pubs, and other businesses, as Clackamas County has been tabbed to move down to moderate risk under Governor Kate Brown's latest statewide framework for assessing COVID-19 risk levels based on coronavirus data. It's marked the second time in 2 weeks that the county's COVID-19 risk level has been downgraded amid plummeting new case counts this month that officials attribute to vaccine proliferation and Oregonians' compliance with public health protocols, while acknowledging the historic President's Day weekend ice storm likely played a role as well by temporarily sidelining testing sites. Ironically, Clackamas County has been cleared to reopen for indoor dining and recreational activities the Friday that the most damaging wave of the storm hit, dealing a double whammy to already struggling restaurants as some owners had to watch food go to waste in coolers that lost power for 2 days or more. Also included in both the initial downgrade 2 weeks ago and this one was Clackamas's Portland metro area neighbor, Washington County. 14 other counties also improved their risk levels. However, Multnomah, the state's largest county, will remain at high risk for now. For the second time in a row, we are seeing great progress in stopping the spread of COVID-19 across Oregon and saving lives, said Brown. Oregonians continue to step up and make smart choices. While these county movements are welcome news, we must continue to take seriously health and safety measures, especially as more businesses reopen and we start to get out more. Under Oregon's latest framework for coronavirus-related restrictions, counties are placed into 4 risk level categories: extreme risk, high risk, moderate risk, and lower risk. The extreme risk designation comes with the strictest restrictions, while the lower risk categories come with the least restrictive rules. In moderate risk counties, restaurants and bars may host up to 50% capacity or 100 people indoors, whichever is smaller, and up to 150 people outdoors. Establishments may remain open until 11 p.m. Gyms and fitness clubs may also serve half of their maximum capacity, or 100 people, as can theaters, museums, and other indoor entertainment and recreational venues. Full contact sports are prohibited. Churches and other faith institutions may welcome the smaller of 50% capacity, or 150 people indoors, or 250 outdoor services. The new risk level starts Friday and will be in effect at least through March 11th. The Oregon Health Authority reassigns risk designations to counties every 2 weeks based on the latest data on COVID-19 spread. If the coronavirus metrics rise too sharply, it is possible that Clackamas County could be moved back to high risk, which happened to several other counties just this week. The Canby Police Department this week recognized 2 citizens from their heroic and compassionate assistance in helping a woman experience a medical episode during the President's Day weekend storm. In a February 18th letter, Canby Police Chief Brett Smith applauded John and Stephanie Jones for their assistance of Officer Michael Manns on the afternoon of February 13th, while he was conducting a welfare check on a woman who was found parked in a minivan near South Bremer and Haynes Roads, blocking the roadway. The vehicle had run out of gas and the woman was extremely cold, Smith wrote, and appeared to be experiencing hypothermia in the sub-freezing temperatures. What's more, Officer Mann soon learned that the woman had a history of seizures. Not long after he made contact, the woman began to lapse in and out of consciousness and experienced multiple seizures. The Joneses happened to drive by the scene while Manns was providing medical assistance and stopped to help, carefully removing the woman from the van and wrapping her in a jacket and blankets. Because the woman continued to experience seizures, they also placed a pillow under her head to prevent her from injuring herself. They stayed with the woman and Officer Manns until additional police and medical assistance arrived. Their assistance that day was invaluable, the chief said. In addition to demonstrating your compassion for others, you reminded us that we are not alone, that there are many people who support us, he wrote. Such support helps us to promote and inspire a confidence and spirit of purpose as we perform our department's mission together. Chief Smith said he wished to present both Joneses with a Canby Police Department challenge coin, which is a small coin or medallion bearing an organization's insignia or emblem and is often carried by organization's members. It is given to someone when it is important to recognize them for their service, for going above and beyond what might be ordinarily expected, Smith said. I want to present each of you with a Canby Police Department challenge coin to recognize and thank you for the assistance you gave Officer Manns and for your admirable performance assisting a person in need of medical attention, Smith said. And finally, to thank you for partnering and supporting us as we serve our community. The Canby Aurora VFW Post 6057 already faced significant challenges in holding its 76th anniversary remembrance ceremony of the flag raising at Iwo Jima, not the least of which was gathering size restrictions related to the coronavirus pandemic, and that was before a historic ice storm knocked out power to the entire city of Canby and hundreds of thousands of other Oregonians exactly 1 week earlier. But Martin Lochner, post commander and longtime organizer of the event, just couldn't stomach not doing anything to remember the sacrifice of the men who fought and died in one of the bloodiest and most pivotal battles of World War II. You know, it was even mentioned to cancel this year's event altogether, but a small group of us decided that we just couldn't do that, he said. We wanted to hold a small gathering to make sure that those who gave their lives to our country weren't forgotten. Last year's historic event in recognition of the 75th anniversary of the battle had been a grand affair with distinguished speakers, live taps, reenactors, and a 21-gun salute. This year's, held Saturday morning outside the Canby Adult Center, was much more modest, with 10 people in attendance. But the core elements remained, including the sprinkling of several small packets of that famous black sand onto the rock at the Canby Adult Center that commemorates those who fought and died at Iwo Jima. We do that every year, he said. It's one way that we honor and show that those whom we lost that day are not forgotten. They're still with us. Lochner's son, Anson, wore a historically accurate World War II-era Boy Scout uniform, illustrating the way ordinary civilians pulled together in extraordinary ways to help the war effort. The greatest generation came together in ways we haven't seen and may never see again, Lochner said. Whether it was scrap metal drives and bond sales and enlisting, everybody played a part. Unlike the years past, no Iwo Jima or World War II vets were able to attend. Of the 4 who were guests of honor in February 2020, 3 have died in the last year, including 1 to COVID-19. Lochner has vowed to continue the remembrance ceremony even when the sad day comes that there are no longer any World War II veterans to thank in person, regardless of wind, snow, or ice. You know, it wasn't the best weather on Iwo Jima that day either, Lochner quipped. They didn't reschedule. For photos, visit our website at canbyfirst.com.
Stay connected to what matters most this winter with unlimited high-speed internet from DirectLink. While things may look a little different this year, as we all work together to keep everyone as safe and healthy as possible, you can be confident that DirectLink's reliable network will keep your video calls, Snapchats, stories, and photos crystal clear and at your fingertips whenever you need them. In 2021, DirectLink is thankful for all of their amazing members and is proud to be your local internet, video, and voice provider for over 116 years. Joining us on the Canby Conversation today is a frequent guest, although not so much lately. Hi, it's Coach Jimmy Joyce, head coach of the Canby football team. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing great.
Good. You got your lights back on over there, looks like?
Yeah, we're good. We are. we've been pretty fortunate around our neck of the woods, but I know it's not the case for everyone back home in Canby. So
good. Well, we had you jump on the pod a couple weeks ago when it did finally get confirmed that we are going to have a football season. So we're not going to retread all that ground. Would love to just hear. I assume practices have started. What are you guys up to now? And the first game is just around the corner, and that's what we're going to be talking about mainly. But
obviously with the weather situation that we all had to experience, that it was a little dicey for the first 2 weeks of practice. So we missed out on some days.
I tell you.
I think everyone had to deal with that at some, unless you're down south. But
some of these kids were so raring to go. It was probably hard to. It's like it's just a little ice. It's just a historic ice storm, right?
Exactly. It's just it's just 3 inches of it. It's not that big. But it was hard to stop and start and stop. But for the most part, the kids handled it pretty well. And yesterday we were able to get helmets on for the first time. We got helmets on again today, and then tomorrow we're in pads. So we'll start hearing some popping around Canby again. And we are our first game is actually on a Saturday night, not a Friday night. So we Saturday Night Lights for the first game.
Like the professionals, college.
Yeah, we got Clackamas coming to town on Saturday night, the 6th, and it's gonna be a fun time. 2018 defending 6A state champions. So
that's awesome. Well, walk us through real quick the decision for Canby to opt in. I know it wasn't your call. It was kind of the superintendent, school board, everybody kind of weighed in. I know some schools chose not to. Some obviously did. I think the majority did. But can you tell us just Canby's decision making as far as that goes? A little bit of an overview.
Yeah, I mean, when the government laid out the groundworks for us to play, we knew we had to meet some simple requirements. And on paper already, once the guidelines came down, we already met the requirements. Basically, the requirements basically said that you have to be offering limited in-person instruction, which we started on Monday. So that allowed us to start practice yesterday in pads. And then the other thing is that you have to be working towards a hybrid or a free or a full return to the classroom. And that is something that our school district has laid out in the last few weeks. So we are already in that pathway, even though that doesn't have to be set in stone right now. For a lot of districts, it's that LIPI, the limited in-person instruction, was the major key. We kind of inhibited a few districts around us for not playing, but actually as of today, I know the biggest district was Gresham Barlow. They just announced just minutes ago that they have opted in now. So
cool.
I think by the end of the week, we're probably going to see every school district opt in the state.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I know that the hybrid thing, I'm not sure what the ice storm did to that planning, but before the storm hit, the school district was looking to come back with a hybrid model as of March 1st for K through 3, and then kind of phasing that in. So the school district itself will have kind of started that process by the first game on March 5th, with the high school probably and hopefully joining near later that month.
And actually, as of today, it sounds like that Clackamas County is going to be downgraded probably to the moderate tier.
Oh, wow.
So we wouldn't even have to have opted in. We were eligible to play no matter what. So
that's great.
Don't quote me on that. That's just going off the Gresham Barlow release that I just am reading right now that says it. So
that's great. That's very exciting news. It's nice to see those numbers trending down for sure.
Yeah.
Pulling up a couple of things here. So, let's talk football, right?
Yeah. That's a lot more fun than politics and numbers.
I hear you about that. So, gosh, way back, ancient history, the 2019 season was your second season. Coming off a winless season, you guys kind of struggled, or not necessarily struggled. I mean, a lot of folks saw a new energy, a new fire, a new kind of attitude from the team. But tough competition in the Three Rivers League. Went winless for the first 7 games and then won the last 2. And that was really exciting. Had a lot of momentum coming into this next season. Of course, COVID and everything happened. How are you guys feeling? How's the team feeling, ready to get back into competition?
When it's been over 460 days now since the last time we played football, there's an excitement in the air. There's just like a buzz about the kids. Like you just feel when you get out there. Yesterday when you saw kids in helmets, again, it was just one of those things that there wasn't a lot of motivation. There's not a lot of motivation right now that's needed because they are so self-motivated just to be out there and playing. And I think that's a huge testament to their just mental fortitude throughout this whole process. I mean, they have stayed focused. And that's been really hard because we've had so many stops and starts and uncertainty and all that kind of stuff. To stay focused during that is really tough. And we're seeing that right now. And the excitement is building. And then when you get to add in a game like we get to play Clackamas, that's a huge excitement too, because, you know, we've changed leagues, but now we get to go test our mettle in the first game against one of the state's, you know, a 6A state title contender.
Yeah, yeah. I remember one of our interviews before the 2019 season, you said something, Coach, about how you felt that the challenge of that, the difficulty of that winless season that had happened before, had kind of helped motivate and harden the kids. You know, going through that adversity had been a positive experience. Do you feel similarly to everything that's happened these past more than a year?
I mean, when I got here in 2019, you know, you felt like there was a determination that they were better than what they were, and they wanted to show that to just the new coaches, but they wanted to show that to a bunch of people. They wanted to show that to their community, and I think that is kind of a similar feeling that we're seeing right now, because they want to put on a show. And I know it's going to be different. There's not going to be fans in the stands, but you know, that live stream is going to be up, and they want to document for these 6 games. They want to document that forever, that, you know, these are the guys that turned Canby around or helped turn Canby around a little bit. And I think there's that fire in them that is just really impressive. Yeah, absolutely. Well, looking ahead to the season, let's start with offense. Who are your impact players you want to talk about? You know, I mean, we're looking this year. I mean, we have we changed the offense last year. When I got into town, you know, Wing T things. Yeah, Wing T was in Canby for many years. And, you know, we opened it up and went into a more traditional spread offense, or a more modern spread offense. I don't want to say traditional. Yeah. But, you know, that really allowed people like Chance Miller and Mikey Gibson to flourish. You know, Chance is headed to Air Force. He's probably, I would say, if he's not the best wide receiver in the state, he's one of 1 or 2 the best wide receivers in the state. And I think he is so athletic, so fun to watch, so fast. Yeah. And I mean, and that wasn't highlighted in the Wing T as much, where you're only really running boot passes and stuff. And now he gets to show what he can do before he goes off and serves our country and plays Division I college football. Mikey Gibson, junior quarterback, you know, this is really his second full year probably playing in a traditional offense. Yeah. The sky's the limit for Mikey. Honestly, he's already garnering attention from schools. Yeah. I could see him, you know, he has unlimited capability right there. I think by the end of the year, it's going to be recognized as one of the best players in the state of Oregon. Yeah. And then, you know, beyond those two, there is equal talent and equal ability everywhere we see. I mean, you look at people. Tyler Mead was an honorable mention TRL defensive back last year. Yeah, we're going to put him in the backfield a little bit this year. Okay, running back. And maybe play a little wide receiver as well. And we have really a great 2-headed monster with Jackson Valdro in the backfield too, where you know, last year running back became kind of a thin situation for us. We had Wyatt Ramos, who ran the ball exceptionally well, but we had a lot of injuries that kind of limited our depth. This year, we feel that we have really 2 guys that are going to be able to really carry that bulk of the load for us and carry the ball 15 to 20 times a game each. I feel like I hear a future Cougar quarterback in the background there, maybe. Yeah, actually, might be a future Cougar cheerleader. Oh, so okay, gotcha. Yeah, she's found the cookies. Okay. No problem. You know, power to her. Yeah, Mikey Gibson, he's a real exciting player too. He kind of came out of nowhere that first season. Yeah. He was a sophomore, like you said. It was kind of his first varsity football experience, I believe, though, and threw for 4 touchdowns in that first game against Tualatin. Just kind of instantly was like everyone's hero in Canby. And that's a tough team, Tualatin. Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, we wanted to bring Mikey along slow last year. That was kind of our goal, because it's hard, you know, it's impressive when you're a sophomore and you're playing at the varsity level at any position, but quarterback's a little bit different. It is such a demanding and taxing position. Yeah. And having him only had played freshman football in a Wing T, and that was his first year ever playing quarterback. Mm-hmm. We really wanted to bring him along slowly, because the one thing about a quarterback too is if they encounter failure that could be avoided early, it's sometimes very hard to overcome later. Yeah. And so we wanted to make sure when he got his chance that he was ready to actually compete. And I think that's, you know, and he really did. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a great kid, great character, and on the field, he's got a huge arm, a cannon for an arm, and can also run it. He's pretty exciting to watch.
He is. I mean, that's the one thing you can look across our field. We have high character guys on both sides of the ball, and great student athletes, and he's the epitome of that.
Yeah. And just sticking with that theme before we head to defense, although he plays defense as well, but one of your anchors there on the line, Sturgeon Anderson, who I believe is a real impact player for you, both on and off the field, a great locker room guy for your team, one of those kind of sets the tone.
Sturge is I love Sturgeon Anderson. I just feel that he is just one of those kids.
Who doesn't, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's got so much character. He's got so much. His story is so amazing to me. When I first got to Canby, I was told you need to talk to this kid named Sturgeon, and he, and I was told that he might.
You thought you were getting hazed. You're like, no, that's a fish.
Yeah, exactly. It's a big fish.
I've been around the block. I know.
Yeah. And I just remember meeting him the first day, and I'd be like, okay, and then to watch him evolve as not just a football player but a person over the last now almost 2 years. It's been just a joy to watch. And Sturgeon was a kid that didn't know if he wanted to play high school football. He's going to have the ability to play college football now. And what he's done on the football field is not as impressive, though, as what he's done in the classroom.
Yeah.
Not to get into great detail, but, for a kid to have some struggles early on in his career to now being one of our top academic performers on the field, that's an amazing accomplishment. When you have teachers email you and say, hey, I love having Sturge in class now. This is awesome. And he got a 4-point, and I'm bragging about him like a relative or something right now, but he got a 4-point in our first trimester in distance learning, and not a lot of people got 4 points.
Yeah.
And he did. So he's just a great kid. We have some great linemen. We have just some very skilled players and high character guys. Josh Haynes, Peyton Martin. We got the Langsdale's twins up front. I mean, we're going to have one of the better offensive lines, I think, going forward for the next few years.
Yeah. The numbers on Sturge are 6'4", 355 pounds is what the Oregonian lists him at. That is a college body right there. That's unbelievable. I would be terrified to line up against that in high school.
Oh, I mean, that's the one thing too. Our offensive line, like I said, we have size, and that is something that it's hard.
And he's
to
an
find.
athlete too. I've seen him doing workouts and stuff. You don't feel like he's overweight or anything like that.
No, not at all. He is an athlete, and we have a few of those guys. Like I said, the Langsdale twins are they are going to be future college athletes. Jacob Strand, our left tackle, is the most ideal left tackle you can have at the high school level. He's long, he's strong, and he's big. And he's an athlete. Yeah. And, he's going to, he was honorable mention TRL last year. And there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be, one of the top offensive line prospects in the state of Oregon next year as a senior.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I know you come from offense. You love to talk about offense all day. Let's talk about defense a bit. What's your outlook for defense for the Cougs, and how does that shake out?
I think on defense this year, we're going to utilize our athletes, people like Kyle Sander, who's one of the fastest kids in the state of Oregon. And, we're going to put him in positions. He's going to play some offense too, obviously, but he's going to be put in positions on defense to really cause havoc. Mm-hmm. And, we want to be an aggressive defense, but yet very sound, because, you can't really go, too far in one direction. You either have to be sound with a little bit of explosiveness, or you just have to be reckless with a little bit of soundness. You can't be on the extremes. And so we're trying to find that happy medium. We just talked about the offensive line. A lot of those guys are going to see time on the defensive side of the ball too.
Yeah.
We're looking to them. Nick Vandecouvering, who was I think he was either second or third in interceptions for us last year, is going to be back at defensive tackle.
Okay.
And that's a weird stat when you say that he's like second or third.
As a DT, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always laugh. I was watching a Roseburg game the other night, and we have Nick get a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Then we get Peyton Martin for an interception. We had some very interesting stat lines. That's a credit to the coaches. But you look at the defense. We got two guys at linebacker who are also going to, who are going to be two of our leaders this year, and Caden Boyd, who's probably, really. I've seen so much growth from him as a junior to a senior. It's really nice to see. And then Rylan Weimer, who was our leading tackler last year. I think these are guys that are going to anchor that defense. They tremendous athletes, and
Weimer was your lead tackler in 2019.
Yeah, Kyle was our lead. Not Kyle. Rylan was our leading tackler. And I think that when you this year, he should be right up there again, if not leading it. We also have Joe Brockmiller, who was honorable mention TRL as a sophomore last year. He's going to come back in as outside linebacker. And I think with Kyle and him on those outside linebackers, that's going to be a pretty hard matchup for a lot of teams we face because of their speed and then Brockmiller's size and strength as well.
Yeah.
And then, it's our – we have three guys in the backfield, and, Jackson Valdro, who we've already talked about, obviously Chance Miller, and then Tyler Mead, who are all going to be back there, amongst others who are going to provide a lot of depth, whether it's Caden Smith, Theo Netter, Nate Bailey, who I think is going to be one of the more breakout stars of the year, big body, but very athletic as well. He's going to factor in as a tight end and as a wideout, and he's going to play a lot of defense as well. Keenan Brewer, a lot of these guys, and then Matt Souls too as well, who's going to move up from the JV team this year, who's going to be a junior, who's probably going to be the heir apparent to Chance in that slot position. So he's going to be plugged in multiple positions across the field on offense and defense.
Cool. Well, thanks for giving us such an overview of all the different players. I love hearing, because I know football is a complicated sport, right? It's not just, just a few players or five or one. You got 11 different positions on both sides of the field, plus special teams to talk about. And I really love you kind of shouting out all these different guys because they deserve it.
Football is unique that way because it's just football and hockey, I always say, are the two great team sports. But you can't just have one superstar. You need multiple, and that's how you get to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in terms of overall outlook, I'm just feeling for you and the coaching staff, man. Like, your second year coaching this team, all the things that you're going to have to adjust to with COVID, with the shortened season. You guys were already looking at new opponents and a new conference that you would move down to. I feel like they couldn't have like even changed it up more if they made the grass red or
exactly.
It's just everything is new and different. How do you kind of handle that? Keep the kids grounded through all these changes? Do you just try to make it real simple for them? Give them a simple thing to kind of focus on?
The thing about it is, we've had a lot of time to work on how to adjust and everything, right. And for me, I think the kids. Maybe for coaches too, we're just so happy to be out there that it doesn't really matter what they throw at us at this point.
Yeah,
it's kind of like we're going to adapt. Like if we've already adapted enough. I mean, we practice without being able to touch a football, and we've done everything to get to where we are. So let's just go and enjoy this. And I mean, it's going to look different. There's no fans as of yet. There's kids are going to wear masks, but at the same time, if we had to wear a hazmat suit, I'm pretty sure some kids would play.
Yeah,
and
I think so too.
It's I think the joy in seeing the kids out there yesterday outweighs any of the other stuff that's going to be thrown at us, where it's rules, restrictions, and stuff like that. Because I know for me, we're going to play 6 games. This is a season that I'm going to remember for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Because
it's so unique. And I think these kids, even though they're not going to be given the whole full experience of a 9-game season and possibly playoffs, this is something that is going to stick with them forever. And I was talking to the head coach at Tualatin, who's a Canby grad, And he told me the other day, he's like, do you realize that when we line up and play that first Friday and now for us Saturday, that is going to be the most historic event in Oregon high school football history, because we fought for this and we got it, and we're here now, and we get to tell that story for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And some real character, I think, for the kids who also fought and, did everything they could to do the right thing, to keep the numbers down and still, try and get ready and be in the right mindset. I feel so happy for them, because I feel like they really had some sweat in the game and really earned this as well. Yeah,
and they did. And I think, they've been, and I hate to say this, but in some ways they've been caught in the middle of this. And, no matter, there's 100 different ways to look at this situation, but no matter what, I mean, kids have been put in very tough situations for about 12 months now. Yeah. And to have a little light at the end of the tunnel and have them play in a football game in less than 2 weeks, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Any final thoughts on your outlook, Coach, as you approach this season? Anything you want to share with people? And also, let's tell how people can watch.
So what we're going to do is we're going to start broadcasting this out. NFHS network. So we have a brand new camera that is going to be in our main gym, and it's also going to be at our stadium. That all outdoor activities and the volleyball games as well, indoors for fall, can be live streamed on your computer to watch live. It's a pretty cool technology. It's actually the same technology the NBA used in the bubble last spring. Or last summer, sorry. And sadly, there is a small fee. I think it's like $12 a month, but we don't get any of that money. That comes from NFHS. We just we're not taking anything from that, and we'll try to figure out as many options as we can going forward to help mitigate that. But it's a way for people to be present without actually being present. Yeah. And until we can get fans back in the stands, what we don't know when that might be. This is a way for everyone to stay connected in real time and watch these great young men go out there and compete. And the cool thing about it is every one of our opponents have the same technology. Right. So even away games, they're available. You can basically watch any high school football game in the state of Oregon on the NFHS network through OSAA.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we'll put some information about that network and how folks can sign up in the show notes, as well as the schedule for Canby's shortened season this year. I'm really looking forward to that time when we can all come back together. There's nothing like Cougar Stadium on a Friday night, but this is something to be very happy about for now.
Yeah, I think, take the successes that we can get right now, and I think that's it. And hopefully, September, we're all back together in the stadium and cheering us on.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Coach. I really appreciate you coming on the show again. Thanks for all your work and dedication with our student athletes and students. You're a teacher as well. We appreciate that. It's just a difficult time for teachers, we know. Thanks for taking time. That'd be a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Well, take care of yourself.
Well,
Coach.
Thank you. And thank you for all you do.
Joining us now is Donna Ellison of Ellison Team Homes, a firm serving all across the Portland metro area with 3 realtors based right here in Canby. Donna, can you tell us how Ellison Team Homes started?
I started in real estate. I grew up with my dad. He was a realtor. So I'm a second generation broker, and I grew up with him on weekends. And I learned a lot, eventually working with him for several years and then going out on my own. Our family moved to Canby a couple of years ago, but we really didn't know how it was going to go. And within the first probably 3 months of being here, we literally fell head over heels in love with this place. We love the community, the spirit here. The first Christmas at Waite Park, I was literally crying because everybody was walking around saying Merry Christmas and people were drinking hot chocolate, and we got in a carriage ride with the horse, and it was just too much. You just realize it's special here. Real estate's always been my passion. It is my professional love. I enjoy the people, the relationships. So much comes out of kind of the intensity that you spend with people. You're really up in their business for a period of time, and sometimes it's a couple months, sometimes it's a couple years, sometimes it's a lifetime. I feel very blessed at this point to have people that have been with me for almost my entire career. Clients that have bought and sold maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 homes. I have one client that's bought and sold 8 homes with me.
Yeah.
3 generations. It's a beautiful business. It makes for a very full life.
Mm-hmm. How can people find you?
How can they not, really? We have a website, www.ellisonteamhomes.com.
Well, thank you, Donna.
Thank you for having me.
All right, joining us now is Megan Waterman, owner and operator of the Book Nook, and we are reporting live from their brand new location in downtown Canby. Look at this, guys. This has probably been no work at all to get this set up, eh, Megan?
No, not at all.
Easy peasy.
We're not tired.
I bet, yeah. Well, and there's been nothing else. We would have been over here sooner, but for some reason it just seemed like there were other things going on. I don't know why. You guys, wasn't that your opening weekend?
Yeah,
would have been
that
when
would have
this
been our opening,
when the storm happened. So, well, we're glad to be here now. Tell us a little bit about the space.
We're really excited to be in this new space. You've probably noticed the new windows and doors that have gone up on the Grant side.
Your signage outside and your displays on those windows are fantastic.
Thank you.
You only had the one before, so we had no idea how much creativity you had just waiting to have a canvas.
Oh, we have a lot of help. We've got a good team.
Yeah, tell us more about the space.
So we still have all of the used books and local artists that we've had previously.
Okay.
We're really excited in this space to expand our new book offerings. We do a lot of special ordering for all of our customers, and there's sometimes some of the popular Hobbits and Lord of the Rings and things like that don't come in as used as often, or the brand new releases like Miss Peregrine's Society. The new book just came out today, and that's not going to be used for a while.
Yeah.
So now we'll make sure that we have that in store for you guys all the time.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you want to take us around, show us a few highlights. This place is so fun, it's so bright, it's clean, and it's just fun to see something like this in the Parsons building, right?
Oh, we feel so blessed to be in this location.
Yeah, something that's like kind of at the heart of Canby, literally and figuratively, right?
Right.
Yeah.
When you first come in the door, this is our new book section, and we'll highlight like Mother's Day, new release tables, it's Black History Month, and so it will have its own big new section. We're excited to fill in over here.
Very cool.
Yes.
Muhammad Ali. This is great. Some stuff for kids. Kobe Bryant, one of my heroes.
Oh, yeah. The one
Can't tell from looking at me, but I was quite the star at JV high school basketball.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah. That's exactly.
Yeah, I'll owe it all to Kobe.
We're really excited today. It's the new release of the last book in the Miss Peregrine Society series. So if you follow that, or the book, or the movies, it's
very
the last
cool.
one.
And you guys do such a great job of highlighting those things when they come in on social media, you and your team. So
thank you. So our used books, the layout for the used books is still the same as in the previous store. Each row is a different genre and alphabetical by author's last name, and we sell all of our used books at 1/2 of the cover price. They all come in trades, so these are all books that your neighbors have read and loved and traded in.
Love. Is it expanded?
A little bit.
Little bit?
A little bit bigger. Not quite as.
Yeah, not as much as the new books you said was really the big expansion. So.
And we're still unpacking.
Great. And for folks that have been following you for a while, they can sort of see the different from the different shelves, right? That was that era when they were in that space, and then
That's where we grew up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like the rings on a tree.
Down the middle of the store are, so our plan in here is to celebrate story. That's what we've always wanted to do. So you can read a story. We add art supplies so that you can create a story. We support local artists that create their own story through different mediums. We have candles from a local artist that does bases of literary characters. We have artists that paint for and create cards for us. And there's just so much talent here in this area. We're excited to showcase
Absolutely.
more of that. Then, like I said, if you want to create your own story, we have art supplies, watercolors, and hand lettering, calligraphy, nerdy coloring books. I mean, we all need a Dr. Who coloring book, right?
Right. Looks like we're coming over to a fun area over here.
Yes, this is one of my most favorite parts of the store. This is our children's area, new and used. We just added stuffies because we all need a squishy friend to read with.
Yeah, I need some of that, just getting through some of the stuff that happens now.
The dinosaurs are my favorite. We even have little baby cougars.
Love it. And these are separated by different ages or genre as well? How does that work?
They are. So in our children's section, we have new books to the shelves to the right. And then in the back here, these are, each shelf is a different reading level. So we have K to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8. And then our young adult and teens are over here.
Very cool. Games?
And then in the back here, this is something new that we're adding. Hi, come on in. We're expanding our games and our puzzle offerings.
Love it.
And so Dungeons and Dragons, Ticket to Ride, all the way down to Pokemon and Monopoly Deal. This is a great game. If you cannot get your family to sit down for 3 hours and play Monopoly.
3 hours? What is that, speed Monopoly?
15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the only Monopoly my kids will play with me anymore. Monopoly
Interesting.
is a card game.
And it kind of retains the spirit of the game a little bit.
Yeah. So this section...
It's just not going to feel like Monopoly with me, to me, without, after 5 hours, somebody just, flipping the game board in frustration.
That's never happened in my house.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. That must just be me and everyone I've ever played it with.
For some reason, nobody wants to play Monopoly with me anymore.
Calvin and Hobbes. Oh, puzzles?
Yep, puzzles and games are back here.
A little nostalgia section back here.
Oh, yeah. And this section, we're waiting on shipments, so watch, because there's a lot more fun coming.
Awesome. Looks great, Megan.
Thank you. We're still doing our trade-in policy, so if you have books that you're done with, bring them in for store credit. That gives you a discount on all your used purchases. Oh, this was the other fun shelf that we added, that we expanded in this space. This is our Pacific Northwest shelf.
Oh, cool.
And so it's new and used. We're trying to showcase these are from Arcadia Press, some really great books that tell the history of Canby and Malala, Silverton.
Very cool. Some Canby stuff as well.
Yes.
Very cool. Okay, yeah. All right, well, we're going to let Megan take care of that customer. Just wanted to give you guys a look at the new store. Thanks for watching.
Hey, Frankie, you okay? You seem kind of down.
Yeah, I'm just bummed. Miss going to the Wild Hare. I know you can still get takeout and all, but it's just not the same.
They're open again, right?
What?
Yeah, they've been open for a while now. Don't you cover, the news?
Hey, I'm only human, okay?
Okay. Well, I can tell you that the Wild Hare and their amazing staff are thrilled to be open again for delicious meals and fun times. They are strictly following all the recommended safety guidelines, and they have the only covered outdoor patio in Canby, with lots of tables spaced 6 feet apart and umbrellas also spaced 6 feet apart, and fantastic ambiance. And hey, if you're still more comfortable with carryout, they can hook you up there too. Find their menu and other information online at thewildhairsaloon.net or check them out in Canby and Oregon City. Anything to add, Frankie? Frankie? Oh, I guess he left. God, he must have been really hungry. Now Hear This Canby is produced by me, Tyler Clausen. Our content director and star reporter is Tyler Frankie. And of course, our show is edited by Cameron Clausen. We also feature the vocal talents of Joy Struby and James Walden, so a round of applause to them. The song that you're hearing right now is Canby by singer-songwriter Olivia Harms, used with her permission. To find more work from her, you can visit her website olivia13.com.
Now Hear This Canby is dedicated to preserving independent local journalism and redefining local news with our fun, fresh, and energetic brand of storytelling. Our sincere thanks to our local sponsors who make this show possible. Please show your appreciation by supporting the small businesses who support us.
The production of Now Hear This Studios, Canby's locally owned full-service audio, video, and media production company. Our mission is to produce the best content in the universe, and we'd love to help you do it. Find us online at nhtstudios.com.
I will take a motion to adjourn.
I just moved it.
I didn't even ask for it, though.